Alright, welcome back. In this open source game review, I'm reviewing Beyond All Reason. Beyond All Reason is a fast-paced, epic-scale, real-time strategy game that pits armies of robots against one another. In its current state, it is mostly a clone of the Total Annihilation series of games. I'd say probably most similar to Supreme Commander, which I did love. But I was never especially good at, so but it does not look to have the planetary systems or the kind of mapped campaign of Planetary Annihilation yet? Question mark. It does have skirmishes and scenarios, so there is that. But it's still a really solid clone of a really solid game series. For availability, it is available for Linux and Windows, and you can get it from their website. I'll throw a link in the description. It's available as either an app image or a flat pack for Linux, or as an executable for Windows. It does not appear to be on either Steam or GOG, I have also seen it in a few repositories like the AUR and FlatHub, but it's not in most of the Linux distro repos, so eh. So at the time of making this video, the latest engine release was April 8th, 2025, with what appears to be at least somewhat regular game updates. So it does look like a reasonably healthy, well-managed project. Yeah. So while it has received praise over the years from various, games journalistic outlets, I'm quite surprised Beyond All Reason has not won any major game awards. Maybe when it gets to a release state, as it's still technically an alpha. Despite being in development for about, I think, 6 years now. I don't know. And another note is if you want to play multiplayer, you do need to sign up for an account and log in. But I guess if you just didn't want to do that, you can just hit cancel and play offline versus AI. That is a thing. And on to the categories. We'll start with gameplay. The game does play pretty much identical to the old Total Annihilation games. It's a very fast-paced, multitask-heavy RTS. Unlike some RTSs where you do have, a few seconds to make up your mind while making decisions, you gotta be on the ball. You gotta have orders and builds queued up and all that. There's a lot of micro for the game. You are always trying to balance out your economy, to maximize your economy, to expand your borders, to build buildings, to produce units. You got to be snappy. The core mechanics, though, are quite simple. It's get metal and energy for building your base, producing units, and eventually destroy the enemy commander or commanders. That's the gameplay loop. But it is still an epic scale strategy game, so you could be pitting hundreds or thousands of units against the enemy. And it does look to handle mass units fairly well. I did play an 8v8 game, and there were thousands of units on the battlefield. But I didn't really notice many FPS issues, just the occasional, stutter for a couple seconds. Couple seconds the FPS would tank down to 1 FPS, and then it'd be back to normal, so yeah, nothing big. And fun. So Beyond All Reason is a blast to play. I loved the old Total Annihilation games when I was growing up. If you like epic scale, real-time strategy, you will love Beyond All Reason. Even losing is totally fine. I have lost quite a few skirmishes and battles, and they're still fun to play. Trying to hold out and micro a 1v6 battle while you're at your last layer of defenses. It gets super hectic, but it's still fun to play. Yeah. Replayability. So with the amount of available maps, build strategies, unit types, I'd say there is a fairly reasonable amount of replayability, on par with any other major RTS. While I can't see myself playing it for like, years, it definitely does have hundreds to thousands of hours of replay value. Absolutely. Originality is mostly a clone of the Total Annihilation game, so it's not original, but I mean it's fine. Like unless you're looking for a super original RTS, it's still totally fine. I mean it is its own thing, but it is very similar to the Total Annihilation games. For learning curve, it's not terribly difficult to get modestly competent at the game. If you wanted to spoil the struggle of learning, I mean, you could probably watch a few tutorials on like early and mid game, like building, micro strategies, build orders, things like that, and skip a few hours of the struggle. But there is also the option of watching your own replays, so you can kind of pick out where you went wrong or at what point you started to fall behind, so you could maybe see like how you could change it next time rather than just, rote following someone else's strategy. I don't think it's a game that you could pick up today and, be winning 1v3 against AI or even going 1v1 against an experienced player with any level of success. It does have quite a lot of nuance to the strategy of the game. The art is absolutely solid. All the maps I played on look good. There are dozens and dozens of maps to download, so I've not played on them all, but I mean that would take hundreds of hours of play and double checking and inspecting things. But yeah, the units and the buildings do look good. And they're a bit blocky, but they're robots, so it's fine. The music scores are excellent, and the sound effects are, they're great. All in all, the art side is, absolutely top notch. For jank, I really didn't notice anything especially janky. I never came across any game-breaking bugs. There wasn't anything particularly, like, egregious. Like, if I'm gonna nitpick, the A key attack is a bit wonk. Like, rather than be the attack move that you'd typically expect, it's more like move to a location, attack enemies along the way, and then when you get there, attack ground. The first time I tried using it, I lost my entire army because they were just busy attacking the ground next to some enemies, so like they ended up all getting destroyed while I was busy, managing eco and building. But the F key does the traditional attack move that you're looking for. It stands for fight. Yeah. If you like RTS and you want a challenging game that you could sink many hours into, Beyond All Reason is not just a good clone. It's probably one of the better open source projects that I've seen, and absolutely can give it a solid recommend overall. Yeah. So that'll wrap this one up. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.